So what we'll do, um, unless any of you need to pop some capsules down here in the Gachapon grab bag or to get a box of minis, um, we'll. I want to show you all. We're gonna make one NPC and one villain. Yes, oh sheeps. Beat this, I dare you. That's a sassy sheep. Seriously, fight me. Don't at her, fight her. Square up. Oh, all the cute emotes are pouring into chat. My heart is going to melt. My goodness. One v one orcs. The sheep v orc. Although you only use the V if you're doing battle in the Supreme Court. Oh goodness. Y'all are laying it out there. Ah! What a cute little pupper, old port. No, I can't be distracted. We have a job to do. D&D is soul-crushing work. If you're not prepared with every bit of minutia for your game, then you are incorrectly playing. You should feel bad and quit. Or don't do that, because that is completely false. So what we did in our last segment, we made the settlement. The air, like the landscape, and then we put a franchise on it. All right. You know, if you like it, you better put a franchise on it. There's a song about that, or there should be. We made this grassland mountain area. There's an oligarchy that rules over it. That as we were going through in storytelling, it seems like there might be like a council of dwarves from the mountain that took over. And so they're the ones who rule the city, giving harmony between the verdant dominant race and the stout halfling minority race. Probably because the dwarves see the stout halflings as cousins, or the other way around anyway. You know, the cousins are coming back home because they want a reunion, and the main family branch is like, You're the weirdo cousins. However, the person that rules over this territory is a feared tyrant, very grumpy dwarf. This place is the site of many battles. In fact, so much so that at some point in time there's a field of petrified soldiers or other creatures around. There's also an intact obelisk etched with historical lore of some kind, and a great stone wall that lies in ruins. The place is now known for godlessness, is probably more of a frontier town, at least from the outside. The dwarves say that they've been under that mountain for a great long while. There are corrupt officials, and so it seems like the town is on a bit of a downswing, and that is where we are sort of making up and saying, so there, hey, Josh S. Reaper, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome aboard. And so the old owner of Acquisitions Incorporated had a rank 1, you know, started something there, maybe got caught up, actually ended up dying, and his ghost is now the Majordomo to the current party that brought it up to rank 2, as they're going in, investing, and trying to turn this place around. You know, they're not house flippers, they're town flippers, it seems. So we rolled for some details about the franchise, and we have just taken it step by step and built through collaborative storytelling, which I love that it is expressed in the book. You know, hey, sit down and do this. We would like you all to tell the story. Now, does it mean that you all have to do this? Can the DM just say, here's your franchise and run with it? Of course. You know, but to mention something like that in a way to build this confidence in a way that perhaps people don't traditionally think of playing D&D, it's a great feature. And I love that kind of reinforcement. To get people to think outside the box. We came up with some ultra wacky stuff that, you know, it fits with the theme of Acquisitions Incorporated. You know, if you're playing a serious, you know, again, like a Lord of the Rings style, or you wanna recreate Berserk, the manga or the first TV series, and not the stuff that's been animated recently. I'm sorry to say. you know, Acquisitions Incorporated, as it exists by default, isn't the best mix. You can run a serious, you know, base management, you know, for-profit corporation using the foundation rules of Acquisitions Incorporated, but I think the silliness is a part of it. It's not completely baked in, but it can help. Josh, hey, yeah, you're very welcome. I hope you've been enjoying everything you've picked up so far. So now that we have our setting, we have 2 characters, and we have our franchise, let me take you through another exercise that we do on this channel. And we're going to make 1 NPC, and we're going to make 1 villain. And this will even fall back into what it says in Acquisitions Incorporated for building an NPC. Because, sure enough, boop, 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 boop. When we bring it up here, we are going to be drawing on the Dungeon Master's Guide for this. Creating non-player characters. Now, we have a prompt for the non-player character. The NPC we're going to create is the Majordomo of the current franchise location. And all of this has been built one step at a time, step by step. If any of you just got here and you say, whoa, what's happening? I feel so lost. Go along for the ride, because everything we're producing is going to be mentioned or called upon what we've generated in the past. So you can see what we've done, what we've built up step by step over the past couple nights. And it leads to this point. And it's completely organic growth. It's a wonderful, inspirational way, especially if maybe you're not confident or a newer dungeon master. You're not sure what type of story should I run? What type of NPC should I have? It's all right there for you if you follow a methodology similar to this. I'm not saying mine is the ultimate way, the Matty Morg's method or whatever. It's certainly not the only way that exists, because we've explored, you know, different ways to do it too. This is a way that you could use as a foundation, and just like the guidelines in the book, in the supplement, go from there. The villain in this sort of campaign lends themselves to being a lawful Puritan of some sort, be it church or censorship groups of the 90s. Completely and entirely serious. It's not fully a partnership so much as a collaboration. It's like there are WotC staff that have worked on it per the credits, so it's not entirely third party. Matty Morg's method is blind like truth. Hey, this is one of the few channels on Twitch where we love random number generation, because it removes predictability, it removes bias, it removes a lot of the things that as human beings we naturally succumb to. By the way, is the Ack Inc. book the first to be a partnership with D&D rather than third party? Oh, and Old Port got to that. Amen, brother. Well, hey, if none of you have seen the Matty Morg's method of generating an NPC, here it is. Our name, we don't know the name of this NPC yet, but we are going to have our occupation and history. Currently, the Majordomo for the under new management and new and improved Ack Inc. location in, we didn't come up with a name for the city either, but we can call it whatever we want. We can call it Mountain Town, or we could even use that as just a, we'll just put Mountain Town in brackets. Sheer he. We haven't gotten into details yet, so I'm leaving things kind of broad. Died in a recent events that also led to the current tyrant's crackdown on the city to enforce the harmony of the people, which also meant more money into his or her pocket, and giving the other dwarves whom she or he represents a bad name, since many others don't make it up to the surface. All right, now besides being a ghost, and we can even write that. Look, Acquisitions Incorporated, let's have some fun. Besides being a ghost, GGC Refry, can you do me a favor and type in exclamation point 1d20? Roll a 4. So besides being a ghost, our former owner of this ship that was kind of a, you know, mismanaged money to sort of rebuild a seafaring vessel in the middle of this grassland mountainous area to stand out as an Acquisitions Incorporated area. Besides being a ghost, formal, clean attire. All right, now this NPC also, besides being a ghost, when you create an NPC, you don't always have to have perfect stats. This is just offering us a way to conceptualize this character. You know, what is the high stat and the low stat? You know, and if every stat is 10 except an 11 in con is the high. You know, so high and low is also not some sort of absolute. James Norris, can you do me a favor and type exclamation point 4d6? We're going to use the first two now, and we're going to use the second two later. One, 3, 5, and 5. Okay. So the high, if we go high strength, low is a 3. Low con. High strength, low con. Hi. Thank you. Yep. Thank you, Hark. Are you quite finished? What? Alright, she's done. I guess she needed to thwack me with her tail a couple times. Powerful, brawny, strong as an ox, low con, sickly, or pale? Well, you don't get much paler than being a ghost. Yeah, exactly, Pancake. Exactly. Alright, now, this NPC also has a talent of some kind. We have a Majordomo, and obviously, Majordomoing is the skill. Though, what is something else that this NPC does or might be known to do? A proclivity. Pancake Sauce, can you please type exclamation point 1d20? $15. An expert cook. Ooh, you know what this? You know that this creates an interesting bond between the NPC and the dwarf player character who ran a failed restaurant. And how about this? Because the story writes itself here on Matty Morgs. Let's open this up. We had a failed merchant, a restaurateur, for Balden Gorbeler. Alright? That was his background. As we went through his personality traits, my former business partner fell ill, and then our business failed. Part of my new venture involves earning enough to take care of their family. Right? My heart wasn't in being a merchant, so I failed. I'm not that keen on adventuring either, but I need the money. And the customer's always right. What if this boat was the restaurant? The former business partner was the owner who did the businessing. The dwarf was the cook who couldn't business. When the owner died, the cook took over and didn't know how to run the books or even cook the books. Not in that way, anyway. And so we have an interesting bond where the ghost, the Majordomo, is actually now the servant for the dwarf cook who took over the business and rebranded it in another way that he was more comfortable, or at least is still is working as an employee in it, as he knew how to do as the cook before, and not as the person running it. Misfit, there you go. Oh, and Pancake got it as well. Oh my, hello! Do you see how this works? Isn't this awesome? Now, could we have thought of this? Yeah, you know, there's enough of us monkeys in a room with typewriters. We could have noodled that ourselves. But the fact that this happened through happenstance, through pure random number generation, and the inspiration, you know, the unbridled inspiration that comes from that. Look at this awesome connection we just made. This brings the characters together. This anchors them in the story. It gives them a stake in something. It makes the fantasy more real. Do you all love it when this stuff happens? When the character writes itself, when the story writes itself? As a dungeon master, do you find that inspirational? That you don't have to sit there and absolutely pull your hair out to make these connections because they just happen? Fallon, all this stuff is going to get uploaded to Discord at the end of our session. Not like tonight. If you or anyone else out there want to download it for free, use it as a template, change whatever else up you want, and have fun with it. Misfit, I don't have hair anymore, Maddie. I feel like that was a shot at my DM style because I don't have hair to pull out when I write. Shots fired. Everyone, I bullied Misfit, and I had the audacity to presume that there was hair to pull. Totally collaborative, similar thought patterns will always emerge. Old Doc Mercy from Saltmarsh is an amazing character to take a peek at. Oh, yeah, Doc Mercy, our lizard folk, our chaotic evil doctor, our ship surgeon, who is a former Marine, and he's the ship's healer, but he definitely has an interesting sense of humor. You know, you're gonna come to him with a compound fracture, and he's gonna, as he's poking at your arm, he's also gonna poke fun at you, like, oh, you idiot, what'd you do to get this? And tell it, you know. And it's like, what, Doc? I'm hurting here. That's not funny. He's like, I know. That's humorous. And like, pff, there's your bone in front of you. The laughing surgeon. Yep. Just melt all my minis into a plastic gibbering mouther. I can't do business with a bully. All right, everyone. Bonus content. I guess I'm gonna. I'll invest in a. I'm gonna invest in a fire pit and just go out into the side yard and set all of Misfit's minis on fire and kind of hoot and holler around it. Oh, goodness. All right, so an expert cook. I love how this is working out. Now, this NPC also has a mannerism. What is the NPC's mannerism? Let's go back to the story. It's not hard to find. Ninja's not just of the body, but of the mind. Those were the words that the master instructed, but a letter from Shredder had Splinter abducted. All right, what is our mannerism? Fallon, can you please type exclamation point 1D20? Fallon, if you're looking for players, you'll find them. I promise. Smells like hot dog, says James. Just don't breathe too deeply. Ooh. Rolled on a 10. Pardon me. Uses colorful oaths and exclamations. As if any of you have worked in a kitchen or just seen, you know, Hell's Kitchen or Gordon Ramsay and whatnot, if any of you have worked in a kitchen, you'll know that some very interesting language is used behind that swinging door that the servers move in and out of. Uses colorful oaths and exclamations. Misfit was a kitchen manager at 19. It's like thieves can't, not gonna lie. Hey, any of you in the service industry, draw on that, right? Yeah, there is a language of cooking and orders and showing displeasure or distaste at a particular chef's performance or creation. Now, how does this person interact with others? We have a clue from before where he seems rude. He seems rude, and he calls other people trespassers. That could just be the ghost talking. This could also be backed up by the interaction. Old Port Media, can you type exclamation point 1D12, please? Stops on a 7. Honest. Gordon Ramsay's honest. You don't have to like what he says or even how he says it, but is that man not honest? Now, useful knowledge. This is more of a black box for DMs. If you're having a trouble connecting some dots. Hey, awesome! Wolfbabe Ame just raided the channel with 8 viewers. Welcome, welcome. Hello, Raid. I actually ran 2 Chef Oni, one based on Ramsay, one based on Marco Pierre White, Ramsay's mentor, infinitely more terrifying. Oh, wow. It's Elio Yanez. Hello, Volvo. Ame Raid. Oh, Volvo. You're in on this too? There was a spy in your midst. The Fire Nation has attacked. Just finished my stream and decided to spread the love. Thank you so much. And what were you up to? Talk about your stream a little bit. If anyone here hasn't heard about what you do, use this as the platform. I just work here. Send help, says Azran Geist. Volvo spies everywhere. You played some Secret Neighbor for the first time, finished off with some Dead by Daylight. Do you normally play as the killer, or do you have a favorite survivor? So the useful knowledge, that's up for us to decide as a DM, and especially what we want to deliver. And even though we have this connection with the player character and this NPC, the process of death could be a finicky thing. Or we also have the fact that the player character was the chef and didn't know the business, just knew how to cook. And the business partner, the business person here, is the one who might have taken some knowledge to the grave and might not be able to always recall what was going on, despite being back and bound as the Majordomo of this Acquisitions Incorporated franchise. You're a survivor? Celebrating 100 followers? And this is not a patronizing clap. Congratulations for reaching that awesome milestone, Wolf Babe Ame. Alright, now, our NPC has ideals, and based on that 46 that was rolled prior, We had a 5 and a 5. Right? We had 1, 3, 5, 5 is rolled by James Norris. So if we go 1, good, evil, lawful, chaotic, neutral. Neutral is 5. And then we go to option 5. The ideal is neutrality. We have an extremely, so maybe in death, he's honest. He's not doing it necessarily for self-gain or to put people down. But this ghost is just, I exist. You don't have to like it. I don't even have to like it. Here it is. Here I am. Here you are. Now, we also have a bond. What is a bond that this NPC has? Hark, could you do me a favor and type exclamation point 1d10? Fallon says the Majordomo still works there because Omen Dren literally owns his soul. Hark rolls a 3. Protective of colleagues or compatriots. I think that works well. Who could this ghost be protective of, huh? I wonder. Gee golly willikers. Only he can mess with his staff. Hi. Hi. Yep. Okay. Yep. Yep, you're here. And lastly, this character, because all characters have some sort of flaw or a secret. Woof Babe Ame, would you please type exclamation point 1d12 into chat? Please type exclamation point 1d12. All right, we get a 6. Prone to rage. I think we might have knew that, but but this could possibly, by being a flaw or secret, it's not just that it's a part of the personality, it could be exploited in some way. Yeah, the cats are definitely getting their screen time in. They're like, hey, thank you, everyone. Hey, you keep that... you keep the Iosaur onto yourself here, bud. Come on. And so here we go. Right? We have generated an NPC. This is the character of the NPC. Now, if you want more details, you can add them through something like our random character generator that we have. And you could do sort of a quick generator for this. Pardon me. So what we could do is we'll bring up our dice roller here real quick. And if you don't already have an idea, here's a quick gen. We rolled a 66, so we have a male character. A male character that is... We rolled an 8. And that is a human. And let's find out... Oh, cat. Oh, what's going on? Control Z. Oh, don't modify my documents, please. Cat, you didn't just delete everything, did you? Control Z. what kind of a human do we have? If it's even applicable, it's an NPC. Odds. So we have a standard human. So we have a male human. We kind of already have, an ideal. It's going to fall in neutral. We probably don't even need to roll alignment. Level, it's probably not necessary. ASIs and feats aren't really necessary for us to worry about. Our background sources. What is our background for this character? There are 13. If we go here, if we remove all of the background sources except Player's Handbook, there's 13, but the spreadsheet here splits out things from like sailor from pirate or noble from knight. But I don't know. Let's we could roll this, or if we wanted to keep it acquisitions incorporated, we would actually roll a D5. So let's do that. Find out what we have. We rolled a 3. Backgrounds. Celebrity scion, failed merchant, a gambler. Oh my goodness, did this not get more perfect? We had a business person who was a gambler, took that on, ended up dying, and left everything to then who would become the failed merchant. All right, so we're gonna come down here. We have a male, a neutral male human gambler, and if we really wanted to, we could we could roll some extra stuff. Though keeping it simple is going to be nice, but we can come down here to the classes, and we can roll a D12. 11, a warlock 1, an archfey. Even more interesting, we have a paladin that's Oath of Ancients, who came in as our cartographer. An Archfey and an Oath of Ancients would have a very interesting mix with each other. So if we come in here and we say Warlock, Archfey slash, let's roll a D3 for the pact. We rolled a 3. Tome. A Phantom. Who's a Phantom who's a phantom. So there's a quick outline for the character if you really wanted to, seal the deal and put in a little bit more spice onto an NPC. Well, I mean, there's other aspects that you can roll from the gambler background, but this worked out very, very well. It writes itself, oh sheeps. Yeah, the cat also wants to create characters. All right, so now, everyone, we created an NPC based off the organic information that we have made through imagination and random dice rolls. And if you thought that we stopped at worksheets on this channel with just NPC creation, you are incorrect. Because there's also settlement that we did, and hey, dun-da-da-da, there's a villain worksheet that you can work on as well. And I think who would make a good villain is the tyrant of the oligarchy, who is threatening the town and therefore the business livelihood of this Acquisitions Incorporated franchise. So why don't we generate who this big bully is? And for those of you who are new DMs, or maybe you're a fresh DM but you're looking for new ways to implement ideas to shake things up for your players, here's a way to go about it. So let's open up our player's handbooks. I'm sorry, our Dungeon Master guides. Let's go to some villain music, shall we? What is some good villain? Ah. Here we are. If they're from Dran. I mean, if you want to roll an affiliation, it could be like a secret affiliation or something. Otherwise, you know, like overtly, we have the bully tyrant of this town. But if we can go to the rival section, Fallon, and roll for it, or I mean, you don't have to roll for everything. I don't want any of you to think that you know, if you roll one thing randomly, it has to be an all or nothing ordeal. But you know, if you're cheering for it and you're willing to throw up the random dice for it, we'll see what we get. All right, so the adventure villain, we're gonna go to page 74. Oop. Oh sheeps, can you please type exclamation point 1D20. Stops on a 7. An undead with any agenda. Well, I think we know, we're getting an idea a little bit more about who this tyrant of the oligarchy of Mountain Town is. Now, this villain has an objective or a scheme. And so, Pancake Sauce, can you please roll exclamation point 1D8? Three, magic. Now, in particular, there's a type of magic. So, Fallon, can you please type exclamation point 1D6? Stops on a 2. Build or construct a magical device. That's the villain's scheme. We have an undead with any agenda who wants to use magic to build or construct a magical device. What better way than to take over a mining operation or a mining town, and to, you know, steal the workforce and the materials and the rare gems and everything. Now, how is the villain going to go about this? Let's go back. Hark, can you please type exclamation point 1D20? Oh, well, if Hark isn't here, Old Port Media, can you type exclamation point 1D20 for me, please? Old Port is not here either. All right, it's Elio Yanez. Please type exclamation point 1D20 for me, if you're still here. Misfit TV, will you please type exclamation point 1D20? Rolled a 2. So our method is assault or beatings. Well, we have a tyrant, don't we? That's right, the beatings continue until morale improves. Now, our villain also has some kind of a weakness. James Norris, can you please type exclamation point 1d8? Look at that, another number under 10. And on a d8, too. Alright, you rolled a 1. A hidden object holds the villain's soul. Now, soul could be literal. Like, maybe we have a lich and it's a phylactery. Soul could be a bank account. Right? A hidden bank account holds the villain's money. Right? What keeps them going, what keeps them relevant. A hidden object holds the villain's secret. Maybe there's a skeleton in the closet for this undead. Use these as prompts. You don't have to take them exactly word for word. You may. You always can. Though think about that give yourself some wiggle space. Give yourself a permission to imagine and use what you rolled as a basis. All right. Now, we can do things like the occupation or the history. This can be a black box moment for the Dungeon Master, along with useful knowledge. Something you can do, though, if you don't already know and you want a prompt for the person's occupation or history. If you don't already have, that she or he's the BBEG of whatever, Megacorp or Rival Gang. You can also roll for a background. And by rolling for a background, that is a person's occupation. It's something they did. See, Fallon says it could be Dran Enterprises, if you'd like. More. All right, so pancake sauce. There are 5 backgrounds in AC Inc. However, I don't have a D5. So if you'd be so kind, Pancake, can you roll a D6 for me? And if you get a 6, we'll just have to have the beatings continue until the dice rolls improve. Stops on a 5. Let's go to Acquisitions Incorporated. So, Celebrity Adventurer Scion, Failed Merchant, Gambler, a Plaintiff, or a Rival Intern as the background. Occupation or history, Rival Intern. Maybe someone who tried to make it in AC Inc., failed, and joined another company? I mean, Fallon's been calling for it. Dare we say this stuff writes itself in front of you all? No manipulations or anything? Right? You are an intern at a rival of Acquisitions Incorporated, and you gained a healthy respect for not just the job and the franchising opportunities, but for the ruthless and efficient way AI goes about its business. I sincerely hope that this stuff empowers you all. I really hope that you feel amazing doing these exercises. Whether you're just doing it for funsies, or you need inspiration to write, or you need inspiration to run a game. Could be, Hark. Could be. You know, we have Insight Inform and all this other stuff. All right, now let's go back to the Dungeon Master's Guide and to Chapter 3, Creating an NPC. Now we have an NPC appearance. Undead could look super gnarly undead, or they could look like a ghost. They could look in a lot of different ways. Though beyond the obvious physicality, what's a more unique feature that has this person stand out? Not yet, Fallon. Misfit, Can you please type exclamation point 1d20? $11. A birthmark. We can think now, what kind of a birthmark does this person have? Is it mundane or magical? Is it like a port wine stain or what people might call a stork bite? Is it like a dark, is it like a melanin patch? Is it like a beauty mark or a wart? Or, you know, could a birthmark be something that is more of a cognitive, or not a cognitive, when you're born with it, congenital? You know, is it, was the person born with a cleft lip that was repaired, that was sort of healed up? Were they born with, you know, something else? Take it as a prompt. And we can even float this as we continue to build out the villain, right? We have a point to consider. Let's wiggle it in as we can. I would assume it has to be apparent if he or she's undead, right? Unless it's hidden. Either. You know, some people are afraid or ashamed of birthmarks, and so they'll cover them with makeup or something. You know, you could have what is vitiligo? Is that when you're born with darker skin, but you have patches of skin that have like no melanin? So it's almost like a pattern effect. All right, now the abilities. Pancake sauce, we're actually going to end up needing 4d6 for this. So can you please type in exclamation point 4d6? One, 5, 5, and 4. I'm going to 1, 5, 5, and 4. So we have our placeholders. All right. The high ability. Oh, the high ability is also strength. Kind of like our NPC. I wonder if that could lead to an interesting conflict. And our low ability is 5. 5 is wisdom. Low wisdom generally indicates someone being oblivious or absent-minded. Now, our villain also has a particular talent for something. James Norse, if you are still there, would you please type in exclamation point 1d20 for me? $14. Our villain is an expert carpenter. Does that go into the build a construct or build or construct a magical device? Or is the talent as a carpenter what this rival business does? Harvest lumber, runs cutting mills, like lumber mills, maybe using the water runoff from the mountain that goes to the river. And that could also lead to some interesting business fights over water rights. Since you have Acquisitions Incorporated, as we've established, floats through a series of canals dug through the city, and yet the villain who stepped up to be the tyrant leader of the town is claiming the water in the motion as his or her own because of the mills that use the water, and the boat might interfere with that. And so we have created an interesting rivalry, or a villain. My Goliath Barbarian is this gray, slightly blue-tinted skin and mottled with darker patches, sort of natural camouflage. I like that description, James. Now, there's a mannerism that our villain carries for him or herself. Ooh, pardon me. Old Port Media, are you out there? If so, Old Port, can you type an exclamation point 1D20? Perhaps not. Volvo, are you lurking? Volvo. I'm looking at you, bud. Can I get a D20? Hey, Volvo. Yeah, you thought you could work on your 3D homework. Not in this channel. I got you. All right, Volvo rolled a 2. Speaks in rhyme or some other peculiar way. How does our villain speak? How does our villain speak to you, such that you imagine him or her speaking to you? English Mudkip! English Mudkip, hello. Please type exclamation point 1D12. If you don't, then my heart will be broken and I'll know that you hate me forever and I'll cry. You roll a 6. Ah, excellent. We have a friendly interacting villain. Welcome to my office. Take a candy. We're here to talk about the water in Mountain Town and exactly how we can share it. Smiles at your face and stabs you in the back. Yep, the stakes are high. Now, we have our ideal that was a carryover from a prior roll. We rolled 5-4. That brought us back to neutral and moderation. This villain is going for the long game. If you're undead, you can have patience. You don't necessarily have to rush anything. If things are done in moderation, the books get balanced, the contracts are written properly, then it may take longer, but your evil plan has a better chance of succeeding because you're not slipping up and making mistakes. Yeah, please come in. Would you like some confections? They're not at all poison. I assure you that they are not poisoned at all. Yeah, Mudkip, it's been an excellent day. Thank you for asking, and thank you for being a part of the stream. Oh Sheeps. Speaking of polite villains, we need a bond. Oh Sheeps, 1D10, por favor. The pressure's too much to type a command. 1D10 lands on a 2. Protective of close family members. Hum. What could this mean for the villain and the machinations that might span lifetimes? Yeah, you know, is family blood family? Is family business members? Could we combine the two and if this is actually nepotism? Which could be a villainous practice in Acquisitions Incorporated? Fallon is dropping some very subtle hints. Hark, and will you please roll not our ultimate last roll for this character, but please give me a D12 roll. Rolls a 10. Ooh. A secret crime or misdeed. Something that perhaps our heroes can find out and exploit to put some pressure on. Does the secret crime or misdeed have to do with business dealings? Maybe that's why this person is very protective of family members. Does this secret crime or misdeed have to deal with the undead state of the villain? I say. We have a lot of excellent prompts to consider. All right, now, if this is not enough for you, remember you can do a quick character build. And so we will do that. We can do that here, and you can either accept this as part of the reality of the villain or not. So first things first. Fowlin, please type exclamation point 1D100. Lands on an 82. We have a male. Pancake Sauce, please roll a D10. The first 9 are Player's Handbook races. If it lands on a 10, it's a Verdun from the Acquisitions Incorporated supplement. Stops on a 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. A gnome. All right, Pancake Sauce, type exclamation point 1D8, and we're going to go odds or evens for Forest or Rock Gnome. If we get a Rock Gnome, we're definitely, the mountain is a feature of this area for sure. 5 odds. Okay, that's fine. We can have a Forest Gnome. So we have a male Forest Gnome. You know, we could roll here if we want to. I think as a villain, you know, we're already expressing the character. We already have our ideal, which is, you know, we can fudge it if we want to. Level and all that. Trust yourself to give it the stats it needs. Not worried about ASI bumps or feats. The background we already have. You know, we rolled for the rival. Now for the class and subclass. Volvo, if you're here, can you roll that beautiful bean footage? And by that I mean a 1D12. It's just exclamation point 1D12. Stops on a 3. A cleric. Oh. Pancake Sauce, can you please type exclamation point 1D8? Stops on a 1. We have a Death Cleric. And if you want to go through and generate, you know, gnome stats, then we can. A Death Cleric, I do say Mazamune. And hey, welcome. I wasn't sure if you're lurking or whatnot. I'll tell you what, Mazamune, since you're here and you spoke up, I'm going to pick on you. That's what you get for speaking up in this channel. Ha ha ha. Oh no, not interaction. Ugh. We have some rival factions. So there is Acquisitions Incorporated, Dran Enterprises, the Noble Knife, the Six, the Silver Sliver. 5, technically 4. Masamune, or Masamune, would you do me a favor and type exclamation point 1d4, and if you roll a 1, you're going to make Fallon extremely happy. And you rolled a 1. Fallon high fives you, Masamune. Rigged. Sorry, Fallon. O'Sheeps wants a reroll. You knew it from the start. You felt it in your bones because, Fallon, you're the undead BBG this whole time. Dun, 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 dun. Ooh, Diablo 3, what are you rolling as, Masamune? And here you go. My lovely, lovely co-conspirators in this workshop. Oh, alright. Wait, Necromancer or is it Wizard, or I thought it was Sorcerer? Diablo is a lot of fun. Bale. Oh, it's Wizard in 3? Alright. I was thinking differently. So, do you see... Look at this. A lot of this was just conversation. If you sat down with these workshops with some dice, you could pound all of this out. You could even do the character creation. You could spend an afternoon and have characters, villains, NPCs, a setting. I have Paint open. I'm not going to paint it tonight. You could, in MS Paint, make the entire map of this region where Acquisition Incorporated is. I mean, it's grasslands and mountain. I'll tell you what. You want to bang out a quick map? There's our grasslands. Here's our mountain. We're gonna do something kind of cool, kind of funky. All right, kind of. Oh, there's a pass. Goes off the map. There's a big mountain. Mountains featured very heavily here, and we'll put a big old honkin' chunkin' map right, whatever rock right here. Boom. Let's fill this in. Well, that one was safe. Now I gotta find where I actually missed a pixel. Alright, let's just redo this. Big mountain. Gonna go like this. We had one kind of going off the screen here, and we're gonna put the big old right here. You gotta use those sounds when you're doing art. All of you artists should confirm this. If not, then you've betrayed the trust of your host, and I'm gonna feel bad. Alright, we have water that comes off the mountains. Do we not? Yes, we do. That water is going to form a river. Boop, boop, boop. It's gonna come down here. It's gonna hit against here. Almost form a little lake, but it'll kind of like splash off. Blip, 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 blip. Like so. And form 2 rivers. Because why not? This is our map. We'll do what we want. That'll actually go off a little bit. And then this will follow and kind of curve down. Blip, 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 blip. Come up here. And then we can draw all kinds of tributaries. I say I'm not going to do a map, and I'm just doing a quick map. Bubonic 1. Oh, snap. Thank you very much. Oh, Pancake's handing out the subscriptions. My goodness. Pancake Sauce, thank you. And I do want to say to all of you out there, the number of subscribers that we have by gifts or otherwise, when we have our miniature box raffle on the 21st, which is the 3rd Wednesday of the month, More subscribers means I will be giving away for free full boxes of miniatures that includes shipping to a domestic U.S. address. Oh my goodness. This is... Oh, I am so humbled. I'm missing a pixel somewhere. This is gonna... Oh, that's why. Ha! I didn't scroll down enough. And I'm wondering why the rivers... Dang old river, just dang old river. That's why. Ha! Alright, and so we have this town that is then going to be built on this, like, canal system that we're gonna say sort of like... Right? Acquisitions Incorporated is going to float around the town. And we're going to have some irrigation canals because there's some rights that are sold to that from the... from Acquisitions Incorporated that paid for this. There we go. Then we can fill in the town. There we go. As such, we can put mines and all sorts of other stuff here in the mountains. Roads, you know, if you want a road, the Old Town Road, put it in something like orange. You know, this is the major highway, and of course it's going to run along the river, both for protection, supplies, defense, and all that. You know, it's going to come down and bloop. It'll also probably, at some point in time, you know, in the town where we might have a series of bridges, like we'll put 2 major bridges in town, and then of course these are going to feed into sort of a parallel road that's going to go this way on the split. And at some point in time, if people want to make the pass going over, bloop, just like that. You know, if you want to highlight maybe some mines, take a color like pink that really goes well against the dark brown, and make the mine network. You know, boop, boop, boop. You want to make it like that, or do you want to make it all squiggly wiggly as they're following things up and down and all around? Or maybe, you know, this is where they started to really dig deep, and these are the upper layers. Have fun with it. Tell a story. And also, just because we have the majority grassland and mountain, I mean, look, we put water. It doesn't mean you still can't also, because you would need this for mines and things otherwise. You also can't have like little patches of forest. Like, you know, maybe there's some forested foothills. Nothing major. They have to really conserve their supplies because there's not a lot of very local wood around. And we'll put like a little forest kind of goes down this way as well. But here, we'll just add a little... There we go. We'll just add a little forest. Boop, 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 boop. Whoop. I'm still missing something somewhere. This one's going to be easier to diagnose, though. Bloop. And we go back to the pencil. We go to orange. And this road continues that way. And this one, you know, this probably circles around and boop, the road splits here. Because, of course, Acquisitions Incorporated gets to trade at rank 2, so they probably trade upriver and downriver as well. You know, it says that there was ruins of an old wall as well. So what if the old wall ruins were something like this? That they cut the pass, right? To make this defensible back in some yieldy days. And so we can put doop, 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 a nice dark gray. You know, there's even ruins in the water. Doop, 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 and then we're gonna have this cut over, and this is the ruins of our wall. And then, you know, even down here, the wall started to come out this way, and yeah, it's ruins. But then, you know, there's one splotch here. It kind of goes out into the water a little bit, and then it continues this way before you get in the southern ruins. They're really beat up. And you have your obelisk that had some sort of historical information. So this is probably something that, if we want to say that the dwarves were running the oligarchy of the Verdun and the stout halflings, they probably did like a Hammurabi's Code or something and put the pillar of the law, because why wouldn't dwarves encode their law into pillars and put them on public display for all to see, right on the cliffside or right on the face of the mountain here, where people can view it from several different angles, so there's no excuse to not see the interior, or to not see the law. It might even act as a lighthouse or some sort of beacon where everyone can see historical facts. Here lays the claim of the dwarves, and under their permission and purview is the town of Mountain Town allowed to exist. Something along those lines. You want to go and say, oh, so there's a little sailing club here, whatever. You can get into micro detail. Look, we just pounded out a map for our settlement. It uses everything that we've done with our NPC, our player character. We have this vessel that goes through town, as you do when you're an Acquisitions Incorporated floating billboard. There's a temple to a good or neutral deity, so we can make a little gleaming star in town, and we can say that it is located. If this is the course into town, probably major thoroughfare here. So we'll put the temple. If here's the pillar, the dwarven pillar of law, we'll say that the temple is right here, and we're just going to use a little star to indicate that. The Drunken Pegasus, formerly the Wandering Spirit. It's called the Drunken Pegasus, apparently because Jim Darkmagic crashes Pegasus into it one day, and they changed their name because they wanted to share the fame. And so let's put a nice kind of a pumpkin orange, or a lighter, and we're gonna indicate that with a triangle. And we're gonna say that this place, it's a low-key tavern, nothing really big. So we'll actually put it kind of out of the way, not necessarily on the main thoroughfare. A lot of people still go to it because of what it is and its importance, but we'll put it maybe on the edge of town, right here. And so you don't take the highway through town, but there's major streets that would still go to it. Anything else? Quiet low-key bar. The vessel. So at any point in time, you could put it on the canal or the irrigation ditches. There we go. Congratulations, we did it, everyone. Power mapping in MS Paint. And you know what? If you hand this to your players, they might say, did you use Paint to make this? And just answer, yeah. Can you read it? Yeah. Do you understand this is a wall? Yeah. This is a highway? Yeah. Congratulations, you read the map. Use it. We'll add to it as necessary. I'm not here to make things convoluted. If you really want to, fine, here. We'll go through and we will do topography. Remember, every layer you set, everything's 10 feet. And so what you see here, where you have closer lines, is that it is steeper because the distance between every line is 10 feet in elevation difference. Whereas here, this is going to be a lot less of a slope. This is a more gentle slope. And so it's a lot steeper here. And then maybe, boom, suddenly the wall just... This is indicating like a very steep rise at the top of the... At the top of that. And then we'll even put like 2 little towers or something up here. Boom. Also make sure that you indicate elevation with up and down arrows, because you can do something like this where we have, oh, is that 10 feet up? No, that's a hole that goes down. And so you come back and you do this. Down, down. To show that, yeah, you're going up, but there's a pit here. And then everything else continues to go up around it between the lines. Congratulations, you have Mountain Town, you have an Acquisitions Incorporated game. You have a franchise, a map, a setting, characters to start that you can make into NPCs and and fill in the other roles. Everything is here for you after just a couple days of some fun conversation and work with friends. Ta-da.